Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today on the preview of the NITRO Help Desk release that will be coming out next month. I'm glad you could join us and see this preview. Again, it is a preview. We'll be going into more depth a little bit later as it gets released in a couple of weeks. We'll have another webinar where we plow into it in really detail. And of course, you can always contact us directly to get a one-on-one interview, one-on-one demo of the new NITRO Help Desk and see how it fits your needs and what your requirements are. But this is a preview. And to get started, first I want to say Happy Pi Day. Today's 3/14, 3.14, Pi, P-I. So it's Happy Pi Day today. It's one of those nerdy jokes that we have going around. Yeah, whatever.
So, I'll be having chocolate pie for dinner, so in honor.
Chocolate pie. What's that? Yeah. What's it? Pi r squared or something? We'll go with that. Okay, so this webinar, this preview, this is done by James and I. James has been working here 10 years. He's my son. I'm the father, he's the son, and he's been with us 10 years. I've been with the company about 25. We started way back when and doing help desk. We've been doing help desk. It was our first product with Outlook Help Desk back in the late 1990s and the early 2000s. And that was on the Exchange Public Folders, and we moved into SharePoint, doing help desk and a variety of other applications, many applications on SharePoint and Office 365 now and Teams. So really been an interesting progression of the technology from the way back when it was just basically shared, kind of a shared mailbox in a public folder kind of situation, to really getting really advanced with the NITRO Help Desk and how you can bring Teams into play. You can bring, we have a bot, we call it the NITRO Engage bot on Teams. We have portals, we have all kinds of omni-channel support. We'll go into that. And, this webinar, I see that we have some customers, and thank you all for joining, as well as some people who are just new to Crow Canyon. So glad you could join us. We are a California certified small business. We are a preferred partner of Microsoft, and we're on the GSA. We do a lot of government work, but also work with any kind of industry all over the world. We actually have a lot of things going on, things going on in Europe and Australia and Canada, as well as the United States. Anyway, to get going on the webinar, there is a question box that you can enter in any question. Either James and I will try to answer during this, and if we don't get to it during the webinar, we will answer it afterwards by email. We also are recording this webinar. So let's go. Introducing the new NITRO Help Desk. I'll go through a few slides, and then we'll go, James will show some of the features. We'll try and keep it to 30, 40 minutes as a preview. So we took a lot of user feedback, suggestions. Of course, we have a lot of experience over the years, incorporating it with all the new technologies available from Microsoft. And we worked to build an advanced help desk, one that's the leader in the Microsoft 365 and SharePoint spaces for doing a help desk. This really helps people organize their work of managing IT support, and whether it's for a whole department or a whole organization, really depends, but it really helps people organize their support and keep track of issues and make sure they're resolved timely and that users are satisfied with the work that's being done. So what we added on in the NITRO Help Desk, features that improve productivity. We had people were asking for more detailed time tracking and KPI kind of reports. In other words, they want to keep track of what's going on with their technicians, with the help desk, how long it takes to resolve a ticket, why some ticket took too long to resolve, if there's a constant barrage of a certain kind of ticket and how that could be resolved, or some kind of fix to the underlying problem, get some change management going that will fix it. So helping to identify root causes and things like that. We also implemented more sophisticated service level agreements. This has come up more and more with people we've been working with, as they want to know, they want to abide by certain agreements with their customers or their employees, the people they do the services for, as well as just internally know if their operation is operating optimally for that. So in that, it's like, how long for the first response time? How long before the ticket was first assigned? How long before it was resolved? And looking at those parameters gives a real good insight into the operational efficiency of the help desk, as well as you can see different, well, James will go into this more, but the way we set up these policies of these SLAs is you can have very granular kind of situation where it could be from a certain person or a certain department or a certain time of day or a certain kind of problem. You can set different SLAs. We also added satisfaction surveys because people want to know that, I mean, we see this all the time. Anything you do, you walk in a store, you go to a hotel, you go, you order something online, they're always asking you about, give a rated, what's the survey, I personally get a little tired of it, but in a help desk, it's quite important to know that the users are happy or even if they're unhappy with your service, and those satisfaction surveys can provide a lot of good feedback on how to improve your service and handle like what could escalate into a larger problem or disgruntled employee situation. We've always had integration with Teams. We went deeper with our NITRO Engage bot. We expanded on that. And of course, we've been mobile friendly all along, but we're even more mobile friendlier, right, than we used to be. So we're going to those things. And along with those new features, we also have the usual features that we've had all along. This is just a short list. I didn't want to list everything out here. We can, obviously easily create and track tickets. I mean, obviously we have this auto assignment and auto this, auto that, all kinds of workflows going. And we have the omni-channel access, which means that users can enter in tickets from email, text, the portal, backend SharePoint, or the Engage bot. And many ways to give people, and also I should add to that, on any kind of device too. So it's any device, anyway. Whether it's mobile they're using or a tablet or desktop, they can have access to the help desk to create a ticket, or the technicians and managers can have access to look at the situation going on the help desk and resolve any problems quickly, or just be reassured that the help desk is moving along nicely. We always had problem and change requests, which means that if there's a whole bunch of incidents indicate a problem, you can then identify the problem and institute change requests, change control, kind of a change management situation, so that you're fixing the underlying problem so that the incidents go down. And it could be a hardware problem, a software problem. It could be that the users need extra training, or it could be that the process or procedure you're using is outdated or inefficient. And you're able to identify those things through the problem and change management. And change, of course, is about making changes so those problems don't keep happening. Very, very basic. And all this is built on our NITRO Studio. We've had the NITRO Studio Forms and Workflow platform. Wonderful tool. People use it just for building forms and replacing InfoPass and legacy forms. Sometimes they take it and build some kind of particular application they want to do that's particular to their organization. But meanwhile, it also runs our applications. We have a whole set of applications. NITRO Help Desk is one of them, and it runs on our NITRO Studio. So once you get familiar with the NITRO Studio, can go in and modify the forms, the list, the workflows, the custom actions, the printing, and it's many features of the application. Really make it yours, and people love that. They really enjoy that capability. We come in a variety of packages that NITRO Help Desk. There's the standard, which is pretty comprehensive, includes a NITRO Engage bot, includes all the features I just mentioned. The professional adds on asset management. A lot of people want to tie NITRO Help Desk, any help desk activity with their assets. And that is quite probably what we sell the most of is the professional, because it gives you comprehensive view of how the computers and printers and routers and laptop, all that stuff is tied into the help desk. And then people also want to put a larger bundle of applications together, so they would buy our help desk assets and may need a purchasing program along with projects, contracts, onboarding, etc. So we can put something together that really works for you and what's really serve your needs. Now, I also should mention that we run on SharePoint on premises as well as online. we run in the SharePoint. Well, we're not selling. I'm gonna be honest with you. April 11th is the end of support for SharePoint 2013. We're looking not to sell any more of that. I don't think anyone should be buying it. We do have it running on 2016, 2019 in the SAE edition on the on-premises. And we also have, in fact, NITRO Help Desk, as this new iteration, we're only gonna do for SharePoint 2019 and SE. I wanna correct that and make sure there's no confusion there. But of course, in the Office 365, or what they call Microsoft 365 these days, we run in the commercial cloud, which is what most people are using, but also in the GCC, which is the government, and also the GCC High, which is the more secure government environment. We've got a number of customers, a lot of government customers in the GCC, and also a good number of military and defense contractors in the GCC High using our software. So James will now jump in and start to show you some of the features. Again, it's a preview. We won't go in depth. We encourage everybody who's interested to get in touch with us directly. I'll put some information right here. It's not the end of the webinar. Usually this is at the end, but just easy to remember, sales@crowcanyon.com.
Oh, sorry, I switched over to my screen before you showed that.
Right,
We'll show it at the end. I was getting ready to.
Well, it's easy, sales@crowcanyon.com. How hard is that, right?
Yeah, sales@crowcanyon.com.
Can't go wrong with that. All right, James, go ahead.
It's like a radio ad. Sales@crowcanyon.com. Sales@crowcanyon. No, I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, so you should be seeing my screen now, which is a sort of our portal environment for end users to come into the application. And so this is talking to that omnichannel way of getting into the solution. And this portal is mobile responsive, so you can get to it on your mobile device. You can submit a ticket very easily through it. You can view existing tickets that have been submitted through it as well. And so you can use this for intaking tickets and also viewing how the tickets are being processed. This also has a knowledge base that the user can access and search. So it gives you that self-service aspect to it. And we also have a service catalog, which is a suite of IT services that would be offered by your department, or it could be services for any department really. But it outlines how to use it, how to request it. We're going to have a tie-in to a request, kind of a slightly separate request management system. That's going to be coming down the line as part of this help desk as well. So it augments that piece of it. So you got a different kind of look and feel here than what we had before. So there's a few improvements we've made on that front. To complete the omni-channel support intake options, there's email as well. With that email conversion into a ticket's not going to go away. But we also have the NITRO Engage app over here, which has pull the commands, and the users can interact with the system this way. And this can actually be done from your end user perspective or from your staff perspective. And these commands that you see come up are permissionable, and you can security trim them so only certain people see certain commands by Active Directory group. So you'd have essentially these bottom four would just be staff, then the top four would be end users. But you can see users can come in and search their KB. You can move these commands around, put that at the top, and make it more obvious that's the one they should check first. They can type in things like printer not working, which is a common problem. Submit that. The Engage app, the NITRO Help Desk bot, responds with a suite of articles. If you have them out there in your knowledge base, it'll pull them up, and it will give the user an option to look at it. So you can open up the article. It does open up in the browser, but they'll be you can easily go back to the Teams app. And you see it does this fix my problem or not. This one's just obviously a demo, not much info in there. And then we can they can go further to say their problem was resolved, or enter more detail, or show related articles, or they could submit a ticket and submit that process through here. So the few different ways the end user can come in and get that ticket into the system through email, through the portal, or through the bot. So a few different options there for them. Once they get in there, obviously they can see what's going on with the view open tickets. I showed that on there's a link to that on the portal as well, so they can view their tickets and take a look at what's been going on with them. Where are they in process? Here are my open tickets. Here are my closed tickets. Here are all my tickets. So end user has a lot that we don't want to give them too much to do. We just want to give them a really easy way to get into the system and get in there and submit the ticket. But from the back-end perspective, once this ticket gets in there, there's automated notifications. The person who submitted it will get notified that their ticket was accepted or created in the system. You can notify your staff that a new ticket has come in. You can use a category and issue type to manage who gets auto-assigned to that ticket. So you can manage assignment processes through that as well. But on the back-end side of things, the technician has some options, in different screens to see different things. They can see the different views of the tickets. This is going to show them a filtered view of tickets that are assigned to them. So they get a quick, here's what I need to work on right now. They can see overdue tickets. So here's what I needed to be working on yesterday but never completed, or didn't get it done yet, or something came up and they forgot to fill out complete the ticket. Fine, whatever. But it's got all the information's there for them to see that ticket and see the information and get it filled out. So then once they close out, obviously there's going to be some notifications that go around that part of the process as well, where they get the notification, the end user gets the notification, ticket was closed, et cetera, et cetera. Now, as far as management and some of the new things we added into this help desk, there's service level agreements. So what happened when we have detailed policies that you can build around what types of tickets are coming through into the system. And if we get over to the administration piece, all right, it's the wrong one actually. Hold on. Let me get over to the administration piece over here. I'll show you real briefly. I won't go into great detail about setting up the SLAs, but you'll see that there are a lot of options that you can put in place for service level agreements. And really feel like this is a top of the line implementation of service levels, service level agreements. You can have multiple policies. You can have multiple types of criteria around those policies. Is it coming from a particular department? You can see there's a condition builder right here. So when are we going to apply this policy? Is it coming from a particular department? Is it coming from a particular user, in fact? Is it a particular category or issue type? And then you can set different levels of response time around what you've set up in the policy. So our recommendation is that you set up a default policy that's a catch-all. So everything, if you want to use SLAs at all, have a catch-all policy, and then you can build additional policies around that to say, oh, it's a hardware problem, high priority. We need to get on that within 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it might be. And then the user, there's a first reply that they need to make sure that they reply to the user, and then there's a SLA around that resolution of when it actually gets completed. When is it supposed to be done? This is all set through due dates on the ticket. So you'll see that this is part of the automated process. When it gets created, it'll check these policies and apply the right one based on the criteria. And then there's a priority of them. So it'll go down the line. And if there's if it meets multiple SLAs, it'll pick the first one it finds and
James,
apply that
I
service.
saw a workflow on breaching. And what's that? That's a NITRO workflow, right? That happens if they execute on breaching the SLA, like if it's not met at a certain time or something.
Yes, yeah. So that's part of the new system as well, is that we track those breaches and we'll send notifications when a service level agreement is breached. But we also track that, and that's part of what the new tracking that we put into the system, where we have more detailed reports, more detailed information. And I won't go through these in excruciating detail, but at a high level, you'll see the metrics of when was SLA breached, how often was it breached, who is breaching it, right? So maybe you have one or more staff members who aren't working up to par, or maybe their ticket load is too high. This gives you that kind of information where you can see what's going on. You can see if there's a number of people who are breaching their SLAs, and it looks like James. Well, I guess I need talking to because my SLAs are breaching pretty often. But that's the kind of thing you can see in here, is that your SLA is being breached. Who's breaching it? How often is it breached? Is it a situation with a category? Is there a certain category? Maybe your policies around this, what you can actually deliver, are too tight. But that's the kind of thing it's the kind of information you need to make those decisions around whether you need to expand it out, make it a longer term, or have a discussion with staff to make sure their performance is up to snuff. That's the kind of thing that this dashboard will give you, and will show you those response SLAs, resolution SLAs. You can see by priority. So there's a lot of different types of reports in here regarding that service level agreement.
You can drill down into those actual tickets too if you had to, right? I don't know if
Absolutely,
that's
yes.
set up in this report, but you could. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Shows you
Yeah.
those 7. Yep. There you go.
Right. So if you have a question, it's like, oh, okay, here's a 7 that James breached on for resolution. Let me see what they're all about. Maybe there's a valid explanation, maybe not, but you can go and see those tickets and get more details and get more information. That's really what it's about, is giving you the information, giving you the details around that request, around those issues that you might be seeing as well. When this is all said and done, we mentioned one of the newer features is a survey where we'll have an automated survey that goes out to the user through email. They'll have a out of the box, they can hit satisfied or unsatisfied with their response, with the resolution. And we track that as well. So we track those metrics, and that's a big piece that was missing, I think, in previous versions of our help desk, is that we're not, we can send out a survey, but now we've got ways to track what those responses were, weight those responses based on different criteria, and see what kind of quality of service we're delivering to our end users. So you can see what their service satisfaction was overall, how many were satisfied versus not satisfied versus no response. A lot of times you're not going to get a response. That's okay. But you can at least see of the ones who responded, how many were satisfied and how many were not. Now, I would say this is probably not a recommended breakdown. You might have to take action and do something about that. Service quality, what was it? You might have a quality aspect to it. Was it high, low, or average? You can see different different line graphs about how, was it resolved in time? Here's what the person responded. Staff was helpful and knowledgeable. Yes. Information provided. Yes. And what was the rating? So we have a 1 to 5 rating for each of those questions, essentially. That's also one of the really great things about the tool is, as we mentioned earlier, is that there's a lot of customizability here. Users of our program for years are well aware that you can customize things pretty heavily. You can still do that. So none of that's going away. You still have that level of flexibility, level of configurability in here. So if you had different survey responses that you wanted to put out there and different reports you want to create around those responses, that's possible, absolutely doable. So you have a lot of that flexibility right built into the system. So you've got that. You can see your ticket performance. So this is going to talking about those first response times. Maybe the SLA isn't technically being breached, but maybe you want to bring down your response times. Like you're hitting your SLAs, you're doing great, but you want to take it a step further and amp up the level of service a little bit for whatever reason. This gives you that information to say how long is it taking to respond to these tickets. How long is it taking to respond to certain categories of tickets? How long are certain people taking to respond to tickets? So you got those kinds of things. Reopen count by staff is a good one for seeing how many times a technician has resolved an issue, but the end user said, no, sorry, that's not resolved. You got to reopen my ticket. And obviously, if you see a lot of those coming through, again, you've got someone to take a look at. So you can see these metrics here, and it gives you that information at your fingertips, actionable information. Let's say you're trying to make the argument to hire more staff. Well, if you're constantly breaching SLAs, constantly breaching response times, and they're very reasonable SLAs, well, it gives you probably pretty good fire power to go to your higher ups and say, I need more people. So that's what it's really about, getting that information out there that you can take and use to your advantage. Along those lines, ticket trends as well. So you got all these trend analysis of seeing how long were tickets open and closed, how many were open and closed by week, how many were open and closed the last 7 days. You can change it to 880 days. You could have different, again, going to the customizability. If you had a different time scale you wanted to look at, that's very doable and very possible to create those reports and add them to this page. Ticket load as well. That's going to give you the information about how are your tickets distributed amongst your staff. Is it equitable? Is it not? How can I make it more equitable? Reassign tickets, that kind of thing. So that's some of the new things we have from the reporting perspective, from the KPI perspective. I think it's one of the huge value adds we have in this newer version. Combination with the service level agreements and with that. Yes, you're going to say?
Yeah, before you move off that, we should mention that the reports this is all configurable dashboard, and you could do the reports in different ways if you wanted. And also we have that at the top, you can email the report, you could print it, you can do filtering in real time. You could print it as a PDF. So, really very functional, that if you have a report you want to share, it's easy enough to do just by printing out or sending the image or PDF or emailing it, printing it, whatever is the right way to communicate that to somebody else who needs to see this. You also can hide that things at the top, right, James? We did something with the top where you can modify the reports and make it so it's some people said it was a little cluttered having if they didn't want to see all those things up there. So we made the reports more manageable how that screen looks, because some managers don't want it. They just want to see the report. They don't want to see all the other fluff. Right.
That's right. That's right. Just checking to see if we had, I don't think we have any configured on here, and we can show that maybe when we do the deep dive, but yeah, there's
Yeah.
settings where you can remove this toolbar and remove the header. And within each report, you can have this title right on the report. So you don't even have to have this this title header area. Helps lighten it up. And that's one of the other big things we did. We talked, my dad talked earlier about how the mobile responsiveness is there, how we're even more mobile friendlier. And we've done a lot of work around our web parts to make sure that they render well on a mobile device and are lightweight and have those things. Because in a mobile screen, you might not want all that heaviness. You want to keep it nice and light. So we can certainly do that with these web parts. And and some other newer features we have are like merging tickets, make it easier to convert into problems and attach tickets to problems. So there's a few other minor things which I think every help desk should have. We've made sure we added those in there and had those things put in place so that when you get this from day one, you're going to be able to merge tickets together if there's multiple issues coming in, multiple tickets coming into the same time about the same issue. You can easily marry those together, close out the child tickets, and just work on the parent ticket to get it complete through to completion. So it's that feature. There's linking to problems. There's the surveys. What else? Anything else newer that we need to add?
Well,
That I'm forgetting
we
about?
did a lot with the UI as far as when you do those tiles and dials, there's more roundedness, and like you're saying about the whole UI vibe, the vibe of the UI is much lighter.
Yeah, you can see that here in this the portal screen.
Yeah, well, that logo
Well,
on the left, obviously this is a preview. We have to fix that logo, but
yeah.
that's unusual. But you can see that there are, yeah, and all this is configurable. It's the colors and what goes on there, and the
Mhm.
I don't know why anchor is there for calendar reminder, but those are all very configurable in our back end
Yeah,
situation there.
yeah, absolutely.
The other area we're going to be focusing on that's not quite ready for preview is a deeper knowledge base kind of interactivity. We have a project in place. Of course, everybody got excited by Chat GPT and all that, and we're bringing what we can of that using Microsoft Azure and their work with OpenAI into the Azure Cognitive Services and OpenAI into the help desk. So hopefully we'll see some progress on that and how we can incorporate some of that into the knowledge base. But the knowledge base is a feature where either in the bot or in the portal here, or even the backend SharePoint, you can, if you have the article there, do a search and then get an answer right away. To trying to drive it more and more towards self-service for some of the issues that are there. Like the bot's always available 24/7. The Teams bot, Engage bot, or Nitro Engage bot, we call it, is available 24/7. And middle of the night on Saturday, you want to go find an answer to something, you could just go there and use the bot, assuming the knowledge base is reasonably well populated. So we
Right.
can work with people who want, and maybe you have some information already. We do data analysis or data massaging, we call it, where you can take a set of data and turn it into a reasonable knowledge base based on certain ways of manipulating the data to be searchable and amenable like that. So that's one place we'll be going a little more in the future, is the knowledge base, incorporate some AI-ish type Chat GPT stuff into it eventually.
Hmm.
Soon. It's on the next. We have the project's going on right now, so it's another couple months probably.
Hmm.
And then you mentioned all these notifications, and I hope people realize people can be notified by, of course, email. This could be an end user, a ticket status has changed. It could be a technician that a ticket has come in, but it's not just email. It's also text. We have the text capabilities. You can send an
Hmm.
SMS out to anyone. Also Teams messaging, right? It's not just a Nitro Engage bot. There's also the Teams channels, the Teams messaging, all the capabilities that are there. Our Nitro workflows will allow, our Nitro workflows turns Teams into a business process automation tool. So it's like the interface is there. to create a ticket or submit a ticket or escalate a ticket or something like that. And then the workflows behind it turn it into real business process, so that that command in the bot, in the engaged bot, becomes actually a workflow in our system, and can take whatever action you want to do to update people, or like reassign it to create a new ticket. I mean, so much you can do with Nitro Studio. It's amazing. I mean, it goes on and on and on. People probably know it. Do you have a example of Nitro Studio up? You know, which is the underlying program?
I mean, I have the app screen up over here. You can see the different things that we're incorporating into the solution, and
Right.
you know, these are pre-configured as part of our Nitro Help Desk, and there's a few bells and whistles we have a little outside of Nitro to make it you know, kind of our own help desk. But if you wanted to build your own types of applications, or even you know, yeah, capture other processes, even, you know, could be even within the help desk itself,
That's
you
right.
have a lot of capability to do that. So yeah, certain types of requests come through, different types of requests come through. Sure, there's IT tickets, break fix tickets, request type tickets, but there might be other processes that you want to handle even within the help desk, or elsewhere, where you could want to just set up a quick form and intake the form and have a quick notification workflow that goes out, or some kind of custom action that updates another site somewhere with some other information.
That's right.
That what I just talked about, you can set up within, you know, once you get in here and play with it. I think anyone could probably do it within 10-15 minutes, get those things set up.
Sure.
It's really that easy um, to use. It's really, you know, drag and drop interface with the forms. You know, certainly I'll look at our tickets form, and you'll have the same capability. If you get our help desk, you can come in and change up the form of what people see, right? So if you have other information you want to intake from the portal side, or from the end user side, or from the staff side, I should say, you can do that. So it can manage your ticket portal. And let's say you wanted to throw some other information on there, or run some other processes. See, maybe they want to see, I don't know what they'd want to see. Maybe, I guess any one of them. Average rating. Let's see what the average rating is. I don't know. So you
Something there.
I just put something on there. But yeah, you can see how easy it is. Drag and drop. You know, just drag your field over from the left hand side, the control, plop it on there. You have some settings over here on the right. And I won't go through this in detail because I literally could take 2 to 3 hours. But
Well, I think to
there's
explain all the
Oh,
many
explain all the ins
possibilities.
and outs. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
No,
as
no.
many
I mean,
possibilities.
see, but you can see how easy it is. Just simply create a form and start drag and dropping, hit publish, and you're good to go. That's easy. There's lots of other capabilities that extend it way further than that.
I
And
like the custom actions where you bring up a ticket and you can click like escalate or reassign or close and things like that inside a ticket, and you can really make these custom actions. Custom actions really are just buttons on the form itself, so you can go
that's
in
exactly right.
and make whatever process you want to happen. And to me, that's the heart of automation, is that, well, click a button and all these other things start happening automatically based on certain conditions or certain, you know, certain people have rights to press that button, some people don't. It shows up under certain
Yep.
situations, and it does. Like if the ticket's closed, you're not going to escalate it, right? So things like that that you can do with the custom actions to really tune it to your particular needs, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's our merge ticket, one of those new things I mentioned. You can see it just goes through the process, and it has a little gateway here. Say if this condition's met, notify someone. If that person doesn't exist, don't worry about it.
yeah,
You know, so it's yeah. This is again a drag and drop kind of interface where you could do other things. If you wanted to send a notification on this node as well, you could do that. Drag, drop, configure it, and you're good to go.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, very
yeah.
easy.
Yeah, we don't want to take away from the fact that the Nitro Help Desk by itself is ready to go right out of the box. We just want to
Yeah.
point out that if you did have special situations or unique or something you just wanted to do extra, there it
hmm
is, very possible. The other
hmm
thing, James, is that we can also incorporate the asset management. So on a ticket, you would see what assets about, and from the asset, you'd see what tickets are there. I don't think this demo, it's just a preview, doesn't have the asset management hooked up to it, but
It does not, but
that's
I can go over to it real quick. We have a demo site over here with it. We can see that connection.
yeah. So if people want to keep track of the asset management and the warranties and what's been purchased and how it relate and all the ticket, it's a really great. People buy sometimes that just out straight, straight out
Right.
for assets. A lot of people, funny enough, they have their assets in spreadsheets or on pieces of paper, or I don't know. We got computers out there somewhere doing something. So
So,
it's
so here's
funny.
the tie-in right here is they got the related tickets field. So you can see
Yep.
those tickets, ticket comes in about a particular asset, you got that tracking going on. So you can see what's been going on with that asset, what people have submitted about it. But certainly within that, you can have this, if it's a standalone, if you don't get the help desk with it or any kind of ticketing tool with it, you have maintenance process where you auto create tasks for maintenance, and all those notifications and things can be built into that as well. So really a pretty powerful tool for tracking assets and making sure you know where they are, who they're checked out to, who owns it, where's actually where is it? I mean, that might be a question you can't answer today. Where is this asset? And here you go. You can put the location and again, all configurable, all to your needs.
Right, and assets are related to other assets, in the sense of
Mhm.
like kits and things. But yeah, so this webinar, the main intention was a preview, kind of a high level touch of what's going on with the NITRO Help Desk and what we'll be coming out with in, it looks like, mid-April-ish. And
Mhm.
it'll be available first for Microsoft Office 365 users and the GCC, and will be coming out for 2019 SharePoint on-premises 2019 and SE a little bit after that. So
Do
we
you want to
have that.
switch?
What?
Do you want to switch back over to your screen and show the last slide?
Oh, the contact us, sales@crocan.com. Yeah, let me get that going here. Let's see, where is it? Sales. There we go. Contact us. Slideshow from current slide. Okay, I can switch over to my screen and see that.
Yep.
So what we want to do is a little bit later, I think in 2 weeks, we on 30th of March, we have another, that's a Thursday, right? And we're going to have another webinar on in
So,
more in depth on this
all right, I
and
think you
show.
gotta share your screen.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
think
there you
I
go.
did. Didn't I?
All
Yeah.
right. Yep, you're good.
So the next is also, what we really encourage is one-on-one conversations. If you have a group there that wants to talk, or just you're interested, we'll talk about your details, what we needed. We find those are the best conversations, no obligation. We just like hearing from people. We get a lot of information. Oh, maybe you're using this program. Can it, already some other help desk you want to convert over? What's involved with that? Do you start greenfield? Do you migrate data? Maybe you are using a expensive one, overkill kind of, more than you need, and you want to reduce down. Well, this isn't really reduction, but it's less costly than, say, like a whole full-blown enterprise ITSM kind of situation that's going on there. Maybe you don't need that. Also, there's people still using, believe it or not, email, spreadsheets, that kind of thing, to manage help desk, and they want to move there. So we're to more sophisticated system. So a lot of places we can help you out. I think we were planning to keep this just at about this time, 40 minutes. So and I didn't see too many questions, James. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think pretty much covers it. Yeah, if you have any questions, if you want to learn more, get in touch with us, and we'll certainly happy to have a discussion about it. And yeah, we'll look forward to the deeper dive a little bit later.
Yeah.
A couple weeks.
Yeah, it's very exciting. We even got T-shirts printed for this. Where are they? I should have been wearing it today. Why don't I have my camera on
Actually,
anyway?
I'm wearing mine today. Actually,
Oh,
just
you
as
are?
courtesy.
Yeah, yeah, we'll be showing up in Vegas in early May. There's some kind of Microsoft 365 conference. There's also in DC. There's one in June with the old SP Fest. They call them EduCon 365 EduCons now. And getting out on the road more than, of course, they did during the COVID times. And yeah, things are good. Things are good, and we really appreciate everybody attending today on Pi Day. Everybody attending this webinar, and we hope to hear from you and move further along and help you with not only with help desk, there's other applications or Nitro Studio itself that we're doing here. So appreciate your attendance. Thanks, James, and everybody have a good day. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Thanks.